What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Crypto Tips. My name is Toby, and this
is Heidi.
Yes, and here we have Jason. He is an amazing technical analysis guy, and he's got his baby who is learning TA as well.
Real up and comer.
Yep, OG. I think it's the E-Trade baby that's finally made it to our show. So welcome.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I know it's not very professional having a little baby with me, but otherwise we got her, or we got screaming in the background. Yeah, it's real life, especially when Binance is dumping and Bitcoin is booming, new all-time highs. So a pretty good time to have a look at this if Izzy lets us.
Yeah. So I wanted to focus on, thinking of when to take profits. There's a lot of people who are freaking out. This bull run's been, happening for about a year. And I know we take.
Okay.
And she's gone.
And she's gone. Yeah.
No.
So with that said, she's gone now. Talk about Binance. Let's hear about Binance.
Let's talk about when to take profits. What do you look at for a chart of a good time to start pulling out of a position? I know we are obviously not TA experts, so we're much more focusing on the social aspects of it. So when everyone and their mother is talking about crypto and it's okay, this is the peak of the bull. What do you look for in a chart that kind of backs that up as well?
All right, cool.
What are we looking at?
Yeah. All right. So we got Binance on. I reckon we look at Binance because it's been super hot the last couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. It looks like it's topping out at the moment. Nothing is 100%, of course. And then Bitcoin has also smashed to new all-time highs at the moment. So yeah, exactly. Let's have another party. every dollar over. But you were saying that the bull market's been going on for a year now. That's the way I feel about it, because we've been here since 2017 and you guys years earlier. Mm-hmm. And so you realize, oh yeah, that's the bottom in March, and then again later in the year in 2020, that is, for this current bull market. But for the majority of people, the bull market for them only started in January. Some of them even February. So when we're looking at it, we've got to take, I always take that into consideration as well, especially I look at, say, the Bitcoin bull started second time around as it broke through the all-time high, because that's when a lot of people started coming on board because they get interested again. They leave it and they don't come back, and then they wait for it to get to all-time highs again. And that's just what happens. So the main thing I say to people, I know we've got to get into the chart, is don't leave the market. Stay with it through the bull and the bear, so you understand the emotions, which is what you guys are doing with the market sentiment. Understand that from all aspects, as a market is a bull and a bear, and sideways. And sideways can be accumulation or it can be distribution. And that leads us to a nice segue here, whereas for Binance, this was accumulation again through mid-Feb to late March. And then we took off just in the last couple of weeks. So this is what we were looking at with Binance, in February or early March, as it took off. And I mean, I really thought that this was the end of that run. I thought we would see Binance just fade and retest these levels at $150, maybe even $80, but it accumulated again and took off. So then that leads to your other question, is what do you look for? Well, for starters, extreme greed, extreme emotion, huge ranging bars, which this is what, $150, $155 bars. And in
one day.
In one day. And in Binance's history, it only just barely hit $155. So it's an entire history done in one day. Wow. That's kind of extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now we're seeing that again. Yesterday was $515 to $638. Mm-hmm. So it's really extreme bars, when in its entire history, it's never done those sort of ranges. So I was thinking here, all right, Binance is over. So you can be selling out. I start to move down from macro view to a micro view. So a weekly to a daily to a 4 hourly. And it's only in these extreme times with a few other metrics that I would start to look at smaller timeframes. So if I go to an hour, I'm just going back to the period of the previous all-time high. So that's this day here.
Oh, 40 or
yeah, around the 19th of Feb, I think it was. Yeah, 20th of Feb, 19th, 20th. And then we get this sort of really big spike on high volume. So I always take volume in consideration and then the swings. People probably looking at the chart like, you know, it's just white bars. And a lot of people are used to seeing candles on other people's charts. But the candle is just telling you the color of the bar, like the down or an up, and it just relates to the close. So this is red because the close is lower than the previous day or the previous time frame. And this is green because the close is higher than the previous bar, the previous time period. But it's actually a down day from my metrics because the price went lower. You can see the wick. So it was lower and then the top was lower. So that's a down day, even though it closed higher. And that's what creates a swing in the chart because I do swing trading. So that's why I go back to bars and that's why I don't have color in them. So that helps me identify the swings, which is where I would start to pull the stops up to, you know, start to cover my position. So, you know, if I was like a super pro trader, I could probably bring it all the way up. And if you're just following the rules, you could pretty much get it, you know, probably about there and probably somewhere closer up in this range. Yeah, because that just reversed and then you got a little bit of a swing here at $310. So that would get you out pretty close to the top, but you've got to be really following these markets. And I kind of stand back just a bit, look for these extreme periods and just say, all right, I think it's about time to get out because the market's rising again, but this volume, there's just not as many people buying this as they were buying this or buying this. So I think a lot of people aren't finding value to Binance anymore. And then it falls and then falls again and again. And then it starts to reaccumulate. Oh, we ended up going all the way down to what, $190. So it's probably not a bad sellout point here, or even here if you're just going by the 1 hour swings at around $270 odd. Got some accumulation again, big volume, and then we repeat the pattern all over again. Bounced again, double bottom. So there's a bottom here, bottom here. It lined up with accumulation zone before the final breakout. And then Binance just continued up. My next re-entry was, I got a yellow circle on it there because I saw it breaking out of this accumulation. So you can see it tried once, came back into this zone, didn't get as low as the previous or the previous or the previous. So the lows, the major lows are getting higher. It tried this one and broke it, but came back above very quickly. And then we got the breakout of the high. So that for me is my next confirmation because I'm a bit more safe, conservative. And then it started to break away. So now we're at this level again. This looks awfully familiar to that. Looks almost the same. You guys can even see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The volume spikes too.
Yeah. Yeah. So big volume on these, big volume on these bars on the absolute all-time highs because it's the last of the retail traders coming in from everywhere to buy up the crypto at the all-time high price because this is when they're most safe. They feel the safest when everyone else is already in, but that's the worst time to be buying.
You're late to the party.
But that's yeah, basically like the sheep. It's like everyone else has been rounded up. You're the final few. Time to slaughter everyone, and then that's what happens. Yeah.
Yikes.
And it's usually these lows that you want to be buying up, but no one's around. Like no one's at the party. You're at the party on your own. So no one wants to be at a party on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm seeing here on Binance. But again, what's that?
I said it's lonely being an early adopter.
Yeah.
You're the only one at the party.
Hey, look at this one. Yeah, I'll pass.
Yeah, you're pretty much just telling all your friends to come to the party and they're like, no one's there. No one's there. I'll come when everyone else has arrived. Yeah, when everyone else has arrived. So that's why everyone gets super excited when everyone else has arrived because now everyone's at the party, but the party's almost over.
Yeah. Max capacity.
Yeah.
So many innuendos for
Yeah, we could have a lot of them. But look, that's what I'm looking for there. I know it's kind of, it seems easy, but looking at it in real time like we are now, look, these are just easier, I think, because they're cryptocurrencies and there's a lot more emotion involved in crypto than there is in, say, more traditional, long-standing markets. It gets a bit trickier, but crypto is a lot easier because you see it as well. It's like a ton of teenagers, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, People who have never traded, they've got no investment experience, they've never put money on the line. They just all act the same, like all of the same emotions come through, and then we're just looking at that on the chart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty tough.
That's why it's very repeatable patterns.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah.
So where do you think it'll head down to?
Where? Well, I got to see if this is the final top. It certainly looks like it's got all the properties at the moment as a major top, just like this one was a major top, but it wasn't the final.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's something that I don't do well. Yeah, I don't do much of it, which is like Elliott waves.
Yeah.
And that basically, it's just on a principle that there are like 3 major waves into a bull market, you know, into a wave itself. You know, wave 1, it's a lot of people coming in. That's the first wave. 2 is a correction. 3 is a big run. 4 is a correction, and 5 is the final wave.
Mm-hmm.
And at the moment, like I haven't done much on it, but there could be some sort of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this pattern already. Don't quote me on that, but it is looking kind of old. You know, the trend is looking old at the moment. And when I go to a weekly, what do we got? We still got 5.5 days left. This is a bad looking candle at the moment, but there's still 5.5 days until this time period closes. People who are familiar with candles know that as like a shooting star or a hammer. And that is a bullish signal, which has to be at the end of a pattern for it to have strength. Essentially, it's bought up, sold back down. So it's been slammed back down like a hammer. And that's a big bearish signal. Yeah. But like I said, this is not the end. There's still, you can see the time period here. There's still 5 days and 16 hours to go until this bar is complete, or this candle is complete. This one's complete. These are all complete except this one. How far do we have to go? I was looking at how far could we fall? That was your question. So let me throw it back on this. The last one I was watching was, I always look for 50% retracements using a fib. So it's not this measuring where we look from the top and drop it down, which is about 45, 46%. But the way you measure this is the major swing low, which is this bar here, because you've got higher highs, and this one is a outside bar, but essentially that's the previous swing, and I'm anchoring it to the next top, and that gives me some price targets of 50%. 50% are always very strong turning points, and so they're at around $190. So that held up. So let's use, I'm gonna get rid of that, put this at the top with, maybe this is the top at $638. 50% comes out around 337. That's for a major range. But if I bring it up closer, 433, around that area. So that 430, 450 is a possible first target. And then the next target down here is 384. That's if this is the top. And we'll find out in the next few days, just looking at swings. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's sort of where I look. Yeah, I mean, look, maybe this goes sideways for a bit and starts to put in like some sort of that. But like, I mean, I put in my video today on YouTube. I did sell out some of mine here because there's a huge volume bar. This is the highest volume it's seen since this first correction, since the pump and the correction. And it was well, at the moment it's the top. So a few things are coming together here. It was a range that I was happy with in terms of the repeating ranges. Yep. So this sort of range here repeated and it extended a little bit, which still says it still could go up a little more.
Yeah.
But just overall, you've seen like a massive pump and another massive pump. If we see another massive pump, great. We just enter again like we did here, because there's this sort of setup. Probably this sort of setup will happen, break the high, okay, enter again, and then follow up with some close stops because the trend is getting old.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I would play that, just to stay safe, get some profits out. And if it falls away, great, I took some profits. If it continues up, okay, I miss out in a little bit because I sell out at around 550 or whatever, and it breaks up to 650. Okay, $100 a BNB, big deal.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
that to double as well. I mean, there's plenty of coins that are going to double probably in the near term. And so for that to double, geez, that's a huge move. That's probably not going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, that's going to have to
Opportunity
do.
cost.
Yeah, exactly. The risk reward.
Yeah.
It's 640. We've got to go to what, 1280. So that's somewhere up here.
Might be
Yeah.
good to
I think it will eventually, but I mean, it's just run so hard for so long. It'll get there at some point. If it gets there now, that's great, but it's only 100%, you know?
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
I
Yeah.
mean, we're talking
But-
the number 3 doubling its entire market cap. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous amounts of currency being thrown into it.
So it's at 90 billion, I think. So that would make it go to 180 billion, which is only just short of Ethereum then.
Yeah.
So I take that in consideration. And if it happens to break and go again, then there's going to be a pattern to re-enter. You just miss out on a little bit. That's that's the way the game works. Yeah.
You want to look at Bitcoin?
Bitcoin. Let's
look at Bitcoin.
Yeah.
What's Bitcoin at?
Yeah.
What is it at? Yeah.
It's the most commonly used phrase in crypto.
It is.
What's Bitcoin at?
It's at 62,600.
Nice.
Did it hit
nearly
63
63? No. I'm looking at it on Binance.
It's gonna full on go to 63.
It's everything else is sort of crashing against it, the Bitcoin values.
Jeez, beautiful.
ADA Bitcoin. It's not going too bad, ADA Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That's holding up, which is good. That's what you want to see, especially when Bitcoin takes off. You know that all the other Bitcoin values against the other cryptos start to drop.
Yep.
But ADA is holding up okay.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Audio is having a bit of a hit. Not too bad. It's spiked out. Bitcoin value coming down. You just don't want to see them break their current lows.
Yep.
Let's just look at Ethereum quickly. ETH isn't moving against its Bitcoin value, so Ethereum Bitcoin. So it's holding up. But it has moved to new all-time highs as well on the US dollar value, which is to be expected, especially if it's holding steady with its Bitcoin value.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Definitely a good thing. Unfortunately, Filecoin is having a bit of a hit on the BTC value and against its USD value. Yeah, so that's what you don't want to have.
Yeah.
Yeah. ETH, ETH BTC, ETH USD. Yeah, looking all right. But yeah, the volumes are just weaker. I honestly, here we go, polls. Let's go have a look at that. My alerts are going off. Oh, see, polls just got wrecked. I had that alert set underneath the lows. Hopefully some volume comes in and it bounces back. That's, it's okay to take out the lows and bounce back, but if it takes out the lows and keeps going, then it's usually show over. That's it.
Until next week.
Until who knows? But do you reckon we're going to have a few months off? Like, remember 2017? We had those tops at like May and then nothing until October, November.
That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Potentially.
That's what I've potentially. I hope not, but that's what I've been thinking of.
I mean, I think big money is in rotation right now as well.
Do you want to have a look at Bitcoin again? Bitcoin.
4%.
The volumes can. What's that?
4% today. It's 4.6.
Is it? Yeah, 4.6. I mean, that's what a lot of people were looking at, just a sort of ascending triangle, finally got a breakout. Ideally, we want to see some volume come in just to confirm that people are wanting to buy this. Otherwise, we kind of have like a weak rally.
And it goes back down.
Which just sort of takes that out. And then we back down the other way. It just gets people hyped up, amped, and then back the other way. So in that case, we got a swing low here at 55,600 on the Binance chart. It's probably not a little bad. I mean, if people are trading this, a lot of people just like, screw it, I'll buy and hold for whenever I need to. That's probably not a bad area to give you some confirmation that maybe this trend didn't work out. Meaning, we head up and then we head back down and take out that area. That's probably like the first sign that things are getting a little bit weak. And so just look for those swings like this. There's swings in the daily chart to show you that you've got some support, and if that support's taken out, then you probably don't want to be with that particular crypto.
Okay.
Wicked, guys.
Right.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And everyone, check out Jason's YouTube channel, Jason Pizzino. Great content, really knowledgeable, especially if you're into TA and learning how to chart. Highly recommend him. I learned something every time, for sure.
Definitely.
Excellent. That's what we love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Subscribe, like, all the fun stuff. And
On your channel. Love it. Thank you,
and on your
guys.
channel too.
Yeah, both of
Yeah.
ours, please.
Okay, bye guys. I'll see you soon.
See ya.
Ciao.